In this video, I will show you how to solve exponential equations like this one, where it's involving the same bases, but the exponents are not the same. It's weird. So here's what we're going to have to do. Let's get 0 on one side and factor. That's the bottom line. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So that's going to give me e to the 2x power plus 2 times e to the x power minus 8 is equal to 0. This turns out to be factorable. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to factor this using our normal procedures. So this would be the same thing as looking at the first term, e to the 2x power. That would be the same thing as e to the x power times e to the x power. Then looking at the 8, how do you think I'm going to factor that 8 down?
4 plus 4 times 2.
Right. It's going to be 4 times 2. And a positive 4 and a negative 2 will give me the positive 2 in the middle, and it also makes negative 8 when you multiply. So this is how you would factor. And then the rest is like normal. We will set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve. So e to the x plus 4 is equal to 0, and e to the x minus 2 is equal to 0. Subtracting 4 from both sides, we get e to the x power is equal to negative 4. And adding 2 to both sides, we get e to the x power is equal to 2. Really, right now, you should be able to tell that one of these has no solution. What am I talking about? Yeah, there's no power that you can raise e to get a negative number. All right? Even if you didn't know what e was, which is approximately 2.72. All right? E is just a constant. Even if you didn't know that, you can't raise something, you cannot raise 2.72, any positive number, to a power and then end up with a negative number out of it. Okay? Thinking of it another way, how could I rewrite this in log form? Well, how do I, like, this is an exponent form. You know how we switch the things around? Okay. So if I were just doing this blindly, I would do like log base e, and then the negative 4 would come over here, and the x would go over there. That's how we normally would solve this. But what do we write instead of writing log base e, though? We write natural log. So this would be natural log of negative 4 is equal to x. And you cannot take the log of a negative number, or even 0 for that matter. So this is extraneous. Okay? Meanwhile, this one on the right-hand side, we could do the natural log of 2 is equal to x. And this is fine. So without a graphing calculator, without a scientific calculator, this is as far as we can go, and that's what you would put as your answer. Somebody that does have a calculator, can you go ahead and give me a decimal, 4 decimal places? 3, 1?
Yep. 7, 1, 1. No, 6, 9.
Let us do one more example. So subtracting 5 from both sides, we have 4e to the 4x power plus 8 e to the 2x power so minus 5 is equal to 0. So now we just need to try to factor this down. Okay? If you have already factored this, don't tell me the answer. Just let me figure it out. Okay? So the first thing I might try is I might try splitting up the 4 as 2 times 2. And the e to the 4th power would split up as e to the 2x and e to the 2x as well. All right? 5 can only be 1 times 5, so I'm definitely going to do that. Inner plus outer has to equal the middle. Right now, inner, I have 2 e to the 2x power. Outer, I have 10 e to the 2x power. I'm trying to get 8 e to the 2x power. So that will happen if I have a negative 2 and a positive 10. So if I put the negative here, that'll give me the negative 2. If I put the positive here, that'll give me the positive 10. And negative 1 times positive 5 is negative 5, so that works out. So I got lucky. If that hadn't worked, I would have gone back and tried 1 times 4 instead of 2 times 2. But it did work, so we're good. So now we will set each of these factors equal to 0. So 2e to the 2x power minus 1 equals 0. And 2e to the 2x power plus 5 equals 0. So this will give me 2e to the 2x power is equal to 1. And this will be 2e to the 2x power is equal to negative 5. Dividing both sides by 2, I will get e to the 2x power is equal to 1/2. And I will get e to the 2x power is equal to negative 5 over 2. Can you tell that one of these is already no solution? You can't raise e to a power, any power, and suddenly get a negative number, all right? Since e is positive, it's not going to become negative with any power. So this is extraneous. We can just stop right there. But we'll continue with the other one. So just one more time, if I were not knowledgeable, I would write log, I don't want to insult any hypothetical people. This would be log base e, and then I would switch these two expressions. So it would be log base e of 1/2 is equal to 2x. But we don't write log base e, we write natural log. So natural log of 1/2 is equal to 2x. Dividing both sides by 2, we get natural log of 1/2 over 2 is equal to x. So this is your final answer if you do not have a scientific calculator. You would just write this down as your answer. If you do have a scientific calculator, what do you get?
Negative 0.3466.
Negative 0.3466. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.